Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ain't My Podcast, Season 2. This week we're discussing the episode of Angel entitled The Trial. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
This episode originally aired November 28th, 2000, attracting approximately 4.67 million viewers, which is identical to last week. Okay. Now, David, any idea what the number one movie in America was this week?
Let's see. I've had a bit of a break. I can't specifically remember the one from last week.
Give you a hint. It's seasonally appropriate.
I'm questioning whether or not that's a loaded question because there's one in mind, but I'm not sure if it's either too old or not quite made around at this time.
What are you thinking?
The one particular one that comes to my mind is Nightmare Before Christmas, but whether or not it was made around this time, it might have been a couple years earlier.
I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas is like earlier than this. Let's do a quick Google. I feel like that's a fair bit before this, but I might be wrong. Yeah, that's 93.
Couple of years off.
Yeah. So the number one movie in America this week is How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey.
Yes, of course. Always with the Jim Carreys and the Grinchness.
Yes. Alrighty, Dave. So number one song in America this week. Any guesses?
Song in America.
Yes, end of November 2000.
My mind is stuck on the couple ones that came up from weeks past, but not one from the last week, and then nothing else within my memory that would have popped up. Being stuck in middle school around this time, and then just only have so many particular tastes.
Well, Dave, I'm just going to save you from this one. It's still Independent Women by Destiny's Child.
There you go.
Yeah, that wasn't going to change. Alrighty. Moving swiftly on to video games. So, this episode was on the 28th, so just a few days prior to this, you had two pretty decent releases. November 30th, we got Godzilla the Series Monster Wars on the Game Boy Color.
Somewhat understandable. Again, I can't remember if it was a case of it was going off of the one Godzilla movie or if it was just going off of Godzilla as a franchise.
So it was based on the animated series that came out after the movie.
Okay, so somewhat decent, but fairly also under the radar just with how things went with the movie.
I remember the series being quite good, but I haven't watched it in probably 20 years, so...
True. I vaguely remember a scene, and it was definitely intriguing for what it did, but it was also a case of following what the movie did. The movie didn't exactly go super well, and if the toy sales didn't exactly go well, the show didn't last long.
I want to say that this show did last a couple of years, actually, but that's not terribly important.
Yeah, true.
So now we move on to the other game that came out on November 30th, and a game that I have major nostalgia for. It's a little game that came out on the Nintendo 64 and on Windows, and it's Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers.
Ooh.
Which I think is the only N64 Scooby-Doo game, and it's, if you've ever seen one, it's the one you're thinking of. Like, oh...
Like, the only vague memories I could even think of a Scooby-Doo game would be advertisements I remembered seeing in Nintendo Power either around the time or more around in the GameCube era. I can't specifically recall anyone that was on the N64.
Yeah, I think
But
there
on
was...
the one hand, I'm not too surprised.
I think there was only the one, and, like, the ones... I will fully admit that the ones on, like, the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, much better games.
Meh.
But I have a lot of nostalgia for this game.
Neat.
And if I find a copy, I might have to buy it and play it again.
Duly noted. I'll be sure to stand out of your way.
Because this game is short. It's only 4 levels, and 3 of them are just retellings of, like, episodes of the series.
Okay.
But oh yeah, okay, major nostalgia for that game. Anyway, moving right along. December 4th, we got a game on PlayStation 1 and Windows, which was Disney's Aladdin in Nasir's Revenge. And I probably butchered that, but that's fine.
Yeah. If I vaguely remember right, this is based off of the cartoon series that was on Disney.
We can
Though
find
I
out.
can't specifically recall any of the gameplay or any sort of stuff like that.
Uh, it is set after the events of the return of Jafar during the television series and before King of Thieves.
That.
On December 4th, in case you were feeling like you wanted something maybe a little bit more spookums, for some reason in December, on the PlayStation 1, you could pick up Evil Dead Hail to the King.
I suppose it had to come out at some time, and even if they missed October, I suppose it's better than releasing it in the spring or summer.
I just. It's an evil. First off, it's an Evil Dead game in 2000, and there hadn't been a new movie in like 8 years at this point.
It's Evil Dead. It has quite a following.
It has like a niche following. It doesn't have. I would argue it's not like super big, but anyway.
Hmm.
And if that wasn't really your thing, on December 4th, you could also pick up a game on the Game Boy Color, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, which I'm assuming is like a Tetris kind of thing or something.
Essentially, I'm not sure if you've ever seen Puzzle League on the N64 or one of the other type of puzzler sorts games, but it's essentially the same idea. Match up the blocks, make sure it doesn't reach the top of your screen.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played any of those. Also, December 6th, you could get American McGee's Alice, which was a PC game that I won't expect you to really be familiar with, but ooh.
I do have some understanding of the game, but mostly just from the sequel of the game that was released several years in the future on Xbox 360 and all the more updated systems. But yeah,
Yeah, Alice
yeah,
Madness Returns was the sequel, and it didn't come out for like 11 years.
yes, this particular series. I'm not exactly sure how recent it was, like if it came out around this time or there was kind of a certain separation of it. But yeah, the interesting idea that they take from a novelist's idea and just how many ways they can spin it.
Yeah. Also on December 6th, if you weren't really looking for something like Alice, you could pick up Grenadia 2 on the Dreamcast, which is a game I'm not familiar with.
Oh, I know this one. I
Okay.
played supposedly it and or some of the particular sequels, but essentially it was a typical RPG with a battle system that worked on a time scale or a time active system
Okay.
where depending on where you or the enemies are on a gauge, you choose your action, have a bit of time, then perform the action either by uh, moving to certain screens and whatnot. And depending on if you attacked enemies while they were trying to do an action, you could either cancel them out of it or cause certain effects to happen.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hmm.
It looks like quite good reviews as well, so, hey. Seems like people quite enjoyed it. Alrighty, we have a few more games to get through here. December 7th, we had a game on the PC that I'm not familiar with called Giants Citizen Kabuto. Not sure what that is. Also on December 7th, and we normally don't do Japanese games, but we're going to do a few this time because there's a few big ones.
Mm.
Mario Party 3 came out in Japan.
Ooh, because then a couple of years later, it would most likely come to us.
I think the next year. I don't think this one took very long to come out. Yeah,
I
it
wouldn't be surprised.
it didn't take long to come to our shores. Also on December 7th, if that wasn't your thing, on the Dreamcast or in the arcade, you could play Project Justice, which is a game, again, I am not familiar with.
Yeah, no, it's not ringing a bell in my case.
December 10th, on the PlayStation 1, you could pick up Monster Rancher Hop About. which is...
Supposedly interesting. I'm not exactly sure if that's more of a shoot off of the original Monster Rancher or something else.
I'm pretty sure it would be. December 13th, we got... we spoke about this game a couple of weeks ago, but it came to another system this time. December 13th, we got Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, this time on the N64.
Oh, there you go.
And Dave, I know you'll want to speak on this game because I'm pretty sure you're a pretty big fan of it. December 14th, this game was released in Japan on the PS2, a little game called Dark Cloud.
Cloud!
I take it you're a fan.
It's one of those cases that it's one particular game that I love with all the particular methods and styles that it worked with, and it has a bit of a history. But on whole, just when I first discovered it, when I saw it at a friend's place and played through some of the game, and then got the copy of it for myself, but it's kind of fallen behind. It's still one of the particular things that I'm so happy I still have a PlayStation 2.
Apparently, it also got re-released on PS4, so I might have to give it a try because I remember seeing this game and thinking it looked really cool.
It is fairly neat, though be cautious with the PlayStation 4 version because supposedly there might still be bugs with it. Possibly graphical, but yeah, still it might cause a couple of issues.
Ah, understood. And if that wasn't really your jam and you were in Japan on December 14th in the year 2000, there's one other game that came out that day. And I think it might have hurt Dark Cloud sales just a tiny bit.
Hmm.
They released Pokemon Crystal on the Game Boy Color.
Ooh. Ugh. Ugh.
So I feel like that might have hurt the sales of Dark Cloud.
Maybe just a touch.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Yeah.
Like on the one hand, it's not. Yeah, it's still pretty bad, but then it's also not as bad as the story of Dark Cloud coming over to this side and everyone making the assumption, oh, it's a Legend of Zelda killer. It's gonna be amazing and whatnot. And just, oh my god, what are you people talking about?
All right, so let us move on to the episode.
Indeeds, with all the trials and the fancy things.
Yes, okay. So, the trial. I'm gonna try to keep this as succinct as I can. Okay, Cordelia and Wesley talk about Angel while Angel is down in the basement doing his laundry. Gunn has located Darla in the Royal Viking Motel, but Lindsay has gotten to her first. Lindsay and Holland confront Darla with information about her health. Angel and Gunn check out the motel room but find little information. We cut back to France in 1765. Angelus and Darla are running from a vampire hunter and hide in a barn. As the mob closes in, Darla knocks Angelus down and leaves on the only horse. Back to present day, Darla tries to talk a young male vampire into making her a vampire. Outside in an alley, Angel stakes the vampire before he can bite Darla. They talk, and Darla reveals that she is terminally ill and only has a few months left to live. Angel brings Darla to the hotel and expresses that he has doubts about the truth of records Wolfram and Hart showed her. Angel visits Lindsay, who reveals that Darla is dying from syphilis, the same disease that was killing her when she was first sired by the Master. Angel takes Darla to the demon karaoke bar where she sings beautifully, while the host, Lorne, talks to Angel. He tells Angel that the only way to save Darla is for Angel to undergo a quest that may result in his death. Angel dives into an empty pool and in an underground location where he must survive 3 trials to save Darla's life. Angel is advised by a valet, Jeeves, that before being left in a room to fight an unarmed against a large demon that has weapons. Angel eventually slices the demon in two and chains the pieces on opposite side of the room because this one can put itself back together.
Fancy trick.
It is a pretty good one. From the safety of another room, Darla watches. Angel moves into the other room that consists of crosses covering the walls and floors. After crossing the burning ground, Angel must fish a key out of a bowl filled with holy water. Chains spread Spread eagle before a wall of wooden stakes, Angel finds that the third trial requires him to die in order for Darla to live. Jeeves presents Angel with his options, but Angel is willing to give his life, and that is enough to pass the test. The is willing to give his life. Yeah. Though Angel survives intact, Jeeves discovers that he is unable to cure Darla's syphilis, as she's already been given her second chance at life through supernatural means. Furious, Angel violently attacks the room that surrounds them, truly distraught that after everything he went through, he cannot save Darla. Upon returning to the surface, Darla accepts her fate, and Angel is there to support her. Lindsay and several large men break into the room and restrain Angel and Darla. Drusilla makes a shocking return, and while Angel watches, she turns Darla into a vampire again. Dun dun dun. So what did you think of this episode, Dave?
Just a complete roller coaster in most cases with this. Just the case of Darla's issues with how she's been coping and working with being a human now, and more so just with Angel, just his determination and want to actually fix up everything when it just comes to the end of, oh, you already been brought back. Well, you spoiled your chance. You should have told me sooner. Just, Then
Yeah.
just the fact that everything's all happy, hunky-dory at the end. No, this is Angel. Every run from Wolfman and Hunt has to break in and turn her into a vampire anyway. Ugh.
Yes, it is. It is a good episode, but it is not. I guess the best way to put it is a good episode, but not a fun episode.
It just leads you all through the twists and turns and the whatnot.
Yes. Now, excuse me. So for some international titles, unfortunately, we only have 2 for this week. One of them is French, which just translates as The Trial. And even the German one isn't that great because it just translates as For Life and Death.
Yeah, there, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it's not one of their better efforts. All right, Dave, now did you have anything else you wanted to add about this episode?
Oh man, Drusilla coming back.
Yes, I have a feeling that Drew will be a major part in the next little while. For the
I
next little
wouldn't be
while.
surprised. It'd be ridiculous if they just brought her back to be like, okay, Donna's now a vampire. Bye!
Oh, it's gonna be good, Dave. It's gonna be good.
I
So
wouldn't be surprised.
next week we'll be discussing the episode called Reunion.
So pretty much, we're only missing the one other, but yeah, he has most of his popularity within Buffy, so it's fine.
Angel and the gang race against the clock to find Darla before her imminent rebirth as a vampire after Drusilla, who's now on the Wolfram and Hart assassin payroll, has turned her. Unfortunately, Drusilla is expecting Angel to do just that and fends Angel off long enough for Darla to make a getaway. Having done so, Drusilla and Darla team up for a killing spree in a specific section of the city, while Angel and the gang track them down with a little help from Kate and some interference from Lindsay, Lila, and Holland. In the end, Drusilla, Darla, and Angel end up at a party thrown by the lawyers, and there's a final bloodbath.
Oh boy.
Some shit gonna go down.
Oh, jeez. It'll be interesting to see, but oh, jeez.
Yes, it will not be the most happy of episodes. So until next week, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.